7 days into the Donald Trump presidency. And he's doing exactly what he promised he would do in Project 2025.
Whip it, whip it, work, 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 work.
What's up, everyone? This is Jalen Black, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Black Brief. Episode 2 will be called 1 Week of Hell. I wanted to get my intro out a little bit more exciting, but I want to be real in this episode. What we are experiencing in America is one of the most detrimental moments of all of our lifetimes. And I say that without exaggeration. We are 1 week being 7 days into the Donald Trump presidency. And he's doing exactly what he promised he would do in Project 2025. Do you remember those people that were like, oh, this stuff can't happen. Project 2025, he said he's not a part of it. He said he doesn't know anything. He doesn't have any clue of what he's doing about it, or he has no idea. Even though we've said, and I want you all to reflect back on the previous Black Breed episode when I broke down what Project 2025 would mean for the United States of America. It was people in the comments. It was people all over many social media platforms that still believe the lies of Donald Trump, that he did not have anything to do with Project 2025. Somebody please explain to me how your former employees, how your former administration staffers, associated lawyers, and more all came together to write a 900-page handbook of what they will do with the next Republican presidency if granted the opportunity. Please tell me how Donald Trump would know nothing about this. It is very sad for me to see all over social media what is going on. And I want to unpack a couple things. Usually Black Brief episodes will pop politics, pop culture, problems of the day. No, let me actually just give it all to you at once. Because there is nothing going on in this country that is a game right now. We are in the find out phase. And for those of you who know that what comes before that, we are in the find out phase. Donald Trump, as he promised on day one to be a dictator. You remember, that wasn't a campaign ploy. That wasn't a campaign messaging. He said with his own words, said on day one he would be a dictator. And on day one, Donald Trump has signed over 100 executive actions. And let's be clear, because we like to be an educational platform. Why are executive actions significant? Because there takes no sort of votes. It doesn't take any approval by anybody else, from Congress, from anyone, for a president to sign an executive action. Usually, executive actions are used in case of emergencies. This global thing is happening. I'm signing executive orders for people to stay indoors. Donald Trump uses his executive action to implement the start of his agenda. So let's talk about a few. I think it is very, very interesting where we are right now because of a few things. I'm seeing people on social media a couple things. Number one, I'm Black, so I see a lot of people in the Black community in our responses. And I get it. Post-election, we're just like, you know what? We're going to mind our business. We're the 92% being Black women. We did what we needed to do. So don't be mad when these things are happening in 2025. Can we stop that? Can we stop that? Because what I need people to understand is we don't have the privilege to just say we don't care about these things anymore. When you talk about immigration, though people might be saying, oh, the southern border, oh, I'm going to attack Mexicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Nigerians, what he is trying to do with birthright in America is take away something that has long been in place. You being born in this country, this being the only country you've ever known, that is not going to matter if Donald Trump continues to get his way. So yes, this immigration policy is impacting well more than just Latino communities. And things do not need to impact you directly for you to care about them. I'm going to be really honest with you all. It breaks my heart to see how people are just like, it's not my business. Like, oh, the federal workers, oh, well, the nurses, it's not my business. You do know it's only a matter of time before this all is our business, right? This is not a game, you all. What we've seen in these executive actions is fear in all of our eyes. And that's what they want. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be divided, actually. If you look back decades and decades and decades of movement, ways that the opposition or the oppressive groups win is when they can divide their opposition or the oppressed in this case. You see all across social media, the oppressed, being us, regular day people, middle class people, minority people, LGBTQ people, when we turn against one another, that gives them more fuel to keep going. Because as we're busy making videos about, well, y'all don't care about deportation, or I want to mind my business about this, well, we don't care about Department of Education. Like, we're turning and we're saying, you know what? Only things that are directly impacting me are going to be the things that I care about. We don't have the luxury as people in this country to not care about other movements, okay? Because whether you are a Black American, a Mexican American, an Indian American, an Asian American, Chinese, whatever type of American you are, whether you're not a citizen in general, this is all going to impact us eventually. In 1 week, you all, we've seen Donald Trump fire inspector generals. And even members of Congress are like, how on earth are we going to fire inspection and generals for departments in our government? That means no one is checking for what could happen and what is happening in these departments. Another thing that was very laid out in Project 25 is the attack on federal government employees. There's been instant hiring freezes all across the federal government. And one of the most concerning things, I think, it's all concerning, but one of the most concerning things that I see is that in the Department of Health and Human Services, Donald Trump and his administration have blocked website updates, press release updates, online updates. Have you all heard of bird flu? Yes, bird flu. The reason that the prices of eggs are about to skyrocket once again, they're detecting that this could be an even more fatal disease, and it's already hitting our country. We've already had a case or two in Georgia. We've had cases in California. We've had cases all across this country. With bird flu running rampant and is about to run more rampant, and not having the ability to have updates from the Department of Health and Human Services, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to be sick and have no idea why, because Donald Trump has enacted an executive order to shut people up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what tyranny looks like. And if you don't know what tyranny is, let's Google it right now. Tyrannny. It is the power and the control of a smaller group, a ruling majority, typically in the upper wealthier class, controlling the majority. This was not something just for elections, people. When Donald Trump said he was going to slash departments of this government, when Donald Trump said he was going to take away DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, he did. I don't think people understand me when I'm saying in 1 week, 7 days of this administration, we have effectively reversed over 100 years, if not many more, years of progress in this country. And let's not let these far right people dictate what this really means. When we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, This is far greater than Black people. You're talking about women. You are talking about other communities of color. You're talking about LGBTQ communities. You're talking about communities that are more likely to have been discriminated against in this country. They're saying, oh, we're going to take the country back to just be merit based. You see how they're saying that, right? So they're saying, if you look like me, if you look like not a white man, then clearly you didn't have the merits to be where you are. This whole DEI hires and all this stuff, these were racist ploys that they've continued to bring into language. And now he has slashed all these departments. Do we understand that we have ancestors that have fought blood, sweat, and tears for the protections under the Civil Rights Amendment, and they're gutting it one by one, amendment by amendment, because they want to take us back. When we say make America great again, that means make America white again. Even with the issue of reproductive care, JD Vance, our new vice president, said, I want to be clear, I want more babies in America. First of all, that's just weird. Like, you say you want more babies in America, but yet our DFAT systems are horrible, but yet our foster care systems are horrible, but yet you underfund education, you underfund healthcare. So please tell me, JD Vance, how are we making a country that is even ready for a boom in babies? They're coming for abortions, they're coming for contraceptives, they're coming for birth control, and they're coming for all those things because they want forced birth. In my opinion, it's a part of this greater ideology that whiteness is being replaced in America. This is why you see what is going on with immigration. This is why you see what is going on with diversity, equity, inclusion. It's why you see what is going on with abortions. They don't want white people to be out of the majority in this country. These racist tropes of videos is what is happening when you have a fear instilled in people and instilled in representatives that, people are having too much opportunity in this country. And by people, I mean people that don't look like us. We need to put white back in power. Not that white people ever lost power, but all these things have these racist undertones, right? And I want people to also understand Donald Trump, a part of his many executive actions, and you can Google Donald Trump executive actions day one. We don't even have enough time in an episode to go through one by one. But another one is pulling out the climate Paris Agreement. This is something President Joe Biden worked hard to get back part of, and this is to help reverse our climate footprint in America. He does this at a time that the South is literally experiencing unprecedented level of coldness and snow. The South of the United States of America. He does this at a time that LA quite literally was burning down in January. I want to be very clear when we talk about climate change that the viewers on the Black Beef know that this is more than just the earth heating up. No, it is the irregularities of our weather caused by our footprints on this earth, how our overproduction of things, our overconsumption of things. Al Gore reminded us back in the 90s, if we don't reverse this, we will see levels of our weather that we cannot reverse. Climate disaster stemming all over. You all ever sit back and wonder why our weather is just so unprecedentedly crazy? The fact that we've had multiple deadly hurricanes that have ripped across the south of this United States and all over this country. You cannot make this up. This is not a conspiracy. This is what's happening in our life. So back to the whole idea that we can't care about other people's issues if it's not impacting us directly. There is only a matter of time before you feel it too. And I don't mean to say this as a threat to anyone. I mean to say this, what do you think is going to happen when there's mass layoffs going on in the federal government? Those people need jobs too. They're going to be competing for the same jobs of other organizations, for your other college level students who are graduating trying to get a job are going to be the same with people that have PhDs. It doesn't matter. People have been gutted already by this administration. You could talk about, oh, well, the Paris Agreement has nothing to do with us right now, but it does. I was going to say, how can you make up the fact that LA is burning as the South has experienced another week of snow? You cannot make this up. So it's been very difficult to even plan a Black Brief episode because I kid you all not, I'm planning and I'm writing and I'm reading and informing myself about things. And then there's about 10 other things that have happened in the subsequent times. And then by the time it's recording day, I'm like, my God, where do we start? So I think I need to have a more serious tone on the Black Brief of talking about this is something that we knew was coming. And even then, the reaction from America is crazy. You have celebrities crying online. I was just looking at a video of Selena Gomez crying about deportations. I saw another video of a woman who voted for Trump. She's a Hispanic American woman, voted for Trump, and now is asking for her support to not get deported. He never cared who voted for him. He just needed you all so they can win. And then for all of you that was like, oh, yeah, well, grocery prices are too high and this is all the Democrats' fault and we need to do something about that. Donald Trump said before he even got in office in the days leading up, he said, well, actually, it's going to be pretty hard to lower the prices. Have you seen anywhere in these executive actions the action to lower the price of anything? I'll wait. Because there hasn't been. You can look and search all you want. You won't find that. You won't find executive actions that are actually helping people. There is a level of struggle going on right now in this country that if we do not get help, bad is going to become worse. People want to talk about crime and they want to talk about getting more police to stop crime. What do you think happens when people struggle and they have nothing? And on top of that, might have other mouths to feed. People are going to get it by any means. And again, I do not condone violence. I am not supporting crime, but I'm telling you to attack the roots of these problems. It is not to always add more law enforcement, add more regulations. It's maybe give people some opportunity, give people a chance to thrive in this country. And then people won't turn to violence. People won't turn to taking because they'll have their own. I don't know. I'm not a politician. So tell me what you think in the Black Brief. Like, there is a lot happening. And something I do want to encourage on these episodes is for you to comment. Tell me, what do you think is the most heinous thing that you weren't expecting? I want to be very clear. Is Donald Trump told us what he's going to do, and he's doing it. All these bad things that we didn't think could be possible, his administration, as I record this, are figuring out every loophole they can use in the next 4 years to cause absolute hell on this country. If you are not rich, white, straight, and when I say rich, I mean rich, it is going to affect you too. So don't wait for it to happen to you. Don't wait for it to happen to your neighbor. Don't wait for it to happen to just anyone you know to know this is happening all across the country. We're experiencing the first week of hell under Donald Trump's administration. And I could not be more serious about this. In my years of learning and studying and working and practicing in politics, in policy, I have never seen anything like this. And keep in mind, this was always going to be different from the first Donald Trump presidency. Usually when you are in office for the first time, you're figuring out what you can do. You're getting blocked more. You're understanding these things. Donald Trump has a Republican majority in the House and the Senate and a 6-3 Supreme Court conservative tilt. And he just doesn't care. He doesn't have a backbone. He doesn't have a spine. He literally told the priests on his inauguration week, who just said, please have grace for the people you're going to impact. He said this woman was disrespectful and owes him an apology. This is the person that has taken over as the president of the United States. And whether you're watching this in another country, I need you to understand what is happening in the United States of America. We are a global power, and we are a global power that has turned over our country to a dictator. And he is relentless in his pursuit to come for everybody that's ever slighted him, and everybody that has any pigment in their skin, and everybody that does not make millions of dollars a year. Oh, and everybody that's not straight and white. Donald Trump is coming. This is the time that we all care about one another. We organize silently. We understand that we need community, we need our face, and we need everything, and we need to hold on to it tighter than ever. Because if we don't, we will let him have his way. And I don't believe that he will win. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode, and I'll see you next time.